A significant majority of British people believe the country's decision to leave the European Union has been bad for the UK. They also believe Brexit has driven up prices in shops, as well as thwarting government attempts to control immigration and damaging the economy. That's according to a poll by inside research agency Opinion, undertaken to mark the third anniversary of the UK leaving the EU single market and the customs union. The survey asked more than 2,000 UK voters if they believe Brexit has been good or benefited them or the country. In a new headache for Rishi Sunak's much maligned government, results show starkly low numbers who agree with that scenario. Just 1 in 10 people surveyed say leaving the EU has helped their personal financial situation. Another 35% say it has been bad for their finances. Only 9% of respondents say they believe Brexit has been good for the NHS, and in contrast, 47% answered it has had a negative impact on the health service. Sunak has long backed Brexit and claimed it would provide an economic boost for the UK. Just 7% of people think it has helped keep prices low in UK shops, while 63% of the people believe it's been a significant factor in both the ongoing cost of living crisis and in fueling inflation. The findings come 7.5 years on from the divisive referendum, which remains a controversial issue in the country. Overall, just 22% of voters said they believe leaving the Union has been good for the UK in general. The Vote Leave campaign, led by former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, promised that Brexit would boost the economy and trade while taking back control of the UK's borders. Controversially, it also claimed that leaving the EU would bring back £350 million each week into the NHS. Well, this money definitely has not materialized. Experts now say that aspects touted as benefits of leaving the EU have mostly failed, and public perception has shifted from positivity to an overwhelming lack of support for Brexit. Political pundits say that Brexiteers promised that leaving the EU's customs union and single market would be the start of a new profitable global trade system. Well, 15% of respondents in the poll say the choice to leave the union has been good in terms of the ability of UK firms to import goods from outside the EU. 15% is not that much. And there's more, because an interim agreement also ended on December 31st, under which Ottawa would offer London a special quota of English cheeses that could be imported into Canada at low tariffs. While Canadians can still buy Wensleydale, Stilton and Red Leicester, most of it will likely be taxed at a much higher rate. Canada had temporarily offered the United Kingdom the same tariff on cheese that the European Union enjoys, in the hope that Ottawa would have signed a permanent trade agreement with that country by the end of last year. Even if this clause is removed, an interim continuity agreement remains in place for 2020, eliminated tariffs on 98% of Canadian exports to the UK. During the first round of negotiations for a new permanent trade agreement, Canada told the United Kingdom that it could not have a higher quota of tariff-free cheese than in the previous agreement between Canada and the European Union. And with the UK no longer receiving its share of the overall quota, European Union countries will benefit from better access in 2024. Cheesemakers in countries like France and Germany can sell more products at a preferential price with the quota originally offered to the British. Like other countries outside the European Union, such as Switzerland and Norway, the UK will be able to sell some of its cheese at a lower tariff, but in significantly smaller quantities. Successive Canadian governments have sought to protect the dairy, cheese and egg sectors from international competition. Still, Canadian and British negotiators remain at the table and are pushing for a comprehensive trade deal, but it's not there yet. The United Kingdom strongly rejects Canada's calls to allow the export of hormone-raised beef, which its envoy in Ottawa says is a failure for the British public. The country is Canada's third largest trading partner in goods and services, and London predicts imports will almost double from 22 to 35. And Peter Holmes, a researcher at the UK Trade Policy Observatory, says Canada has the upper hand as the British government wants new trade deals to convince voters it has handled Brexit well. Trade with the UK is not of great importance to Canada compared to others, which needs to implement the symbolic post-Brexit trade policy, so the UK needs it. And in a written statement, Global Affairs Canada said it has good relations with the United Kingdom and noted that Canada was the first country to sign an interim trade agreement with that country after leaving the European Union in 2020. Consistent progress has been made in the negotiations, and both parties are determined to achieve a comprehensive and ambitious result, wrote at least Ministry spokesman Pierre Cuggen. The agreement will be adapted to bilateral trade relations and all areas that fall within the framework of an ambitious agreement, and they will be put up for discussion, he says. A ninth round of negotiations will take place in February. That's a month before the second anniversary of the talks. And if you want to know more, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.